It is widely accepted that the current system of raising cattle and monocrop agriculture is unsustainable for our ecosystem. As global warming conversations continue to heat up, more people are realizing that pulling fossil fuels out of the ground and doing intensive agriculture is a process that at best is a short-term gain. We cannot survive 1,000 years from now and have this system still functioning. I believe the blame for these excess greenhouse gas emissions is wrongfully directed on the animals, however, instead of the environment they are being raised in, and that we can reverse the opinion that cattle and other ruminants are destructive to the soil and our environment through regenerative agriculture. Regenerative agriculture is a holistic land management practice that leverages the power of photosynthesis in plants to close the carbon cycle and build soil health, crop resilience, and nutrient density. This form of raising ruminants is in stark contrast to the way most cattle are raised, known as monocrop agriculture, a system where farmers plant a lot of one type of crop year after year on the same land, absent of rotation through other crops or growing multiple crops on the same land. The monocrop agriculture system commonly causes inputs like pesticides, chemical fertilizers, fumigants, and GMOs to push the limits of production, while regenerative agriculture uses a set of farming principles to not just create food, but a better world too. Soil has been described as the fragile, living skin of the earth, and yet both its aliveness and fragility have all too often been ignored in the expansion of agriculture across the face of the globe. If you plant grass seed in a land with no animals, the grass will soon die because grass needs soil microbes that pass through the digestive tract of ruminant animals to properly live through its life cycle. If you added only cows to that field of grass, however, the grass would all be eaten in no time with the cows facing no natural competition. Upon adding an animal like a wolf, the grass would flourish as the wolves would keep the cows in check. The problem then is that if one virus or bacteria switched around genes and became pathogenic to one of these organisms, the whole thing would again collapse. This explains why we need a multitude of different organisms like plants, fungi, and bugs to fill major niches and sub-niches within the story to create an ideal microbial diversity in the soil. So much of what we see on the internet and mainstream media is that everyone knows that cows are killing the environment. However, once upon a time, cows played a vital role in creating a healthy ecosystem that sequestered carbon emissions in the soil. Biodiversity matters, and you want as many life forms as possible. This image here shows the cycle of carbon in a natural environment involving cows. So, the photosynthetic grass has carbon in its carbohydrates that are then eaten by cows who release it through their body as methane, which gets exposed to UV radiation, which helps convert it into carbon dioxide and water that you see in the clouds. Then, it re-enters the carbon in the hydrological cycle, finally re-entering the soil where the microbes full of bugs and fungus in the soil lock the carbon in the ground while freeing up nutrients that are useful for the root systems of plants. And this is basically the process of carbon sequestration, and this is how new soil is built. The cows then eat the soil again, and this life cycle has been happening for over 100 million years, and also visualizes the results from regenerative agriculture. On the left side of the picture, however, the cycle is contrasted with a unidirectional flow from fossil fuels, usually from burning petroleum fuels, or from soil that is tilled by monocrop agriculture, releasing carbon dioxide into the atmosphere. It's so easy to look at one piece of a bigger picture and find a negative conclusion. But when you zoom out, it becomes clear that cows are and have always been necessary to the ecosystem when raised properly and fairly. If we assume that all greenhouse gas emissions are equally as bad, then we end up in a really dangerous place. Although we are certainly not treating the earth respectfully or holistically, the earth is going to survive whether we're here or not. The real question is, are we going to survive?